Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So this is not necessarily news that is new, but it is very relevant still, and I was gone on a little bit of a mini hiatus when this news story broke, but it's still relevant because we have an election to cover because Oklahoma Senator Jim Inhofe, the 87-year-old Oklahoma Republican, he's basically like Chuck Grassley age at this point, has expected to announce his retirement. He's going to be retiring. We now have a new Senate election to cover. And I think this is good news. Again, we're going to talk about why Inhofe was not exactly the best senator, and also Oklahoma has this opportunity for an upgrade, and there's also another Senate primary that is taking place in Oklahoma with their regular Senate election. So you have two Senate elections up in Oklahoma. You saw two Senate elections in Oklahoma back in 2014, and you saw Inhofe and Lankford. Well, hopefully this time we actually get to have an upgrade here, and you could put some solid, more America First type of senators in the United States Senate. But we're going to talk about these two races, but I have to tell you guys about my good friends over at My Patriot Supply. So we all know that there are big dangers around us all the time these days. You look at record inflation, the uncertainty regarding what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, and we need to be prepared and self-reliant. We need land, gold, crypto, but also you need a stockpile of emergency food. And it's very easy. Go to preparewithredeagle.com right now and you'll save $50 and get free shipping on a generous 4-week supply of emergency food from My Patriot Supply, the largest preparedness company in America, who have served millions of people who are prepared for what's coming. Their food stays fresh for up to 25 years. It will be there whenever you need it. So do yourself a favor and go to preparewithredeagle.com. Don't get unprepared. That's preparewithredeagle.com. So Inhofe has announced that it is the end of his tenure. He will be retiring after the midterms, which means that we have a special election that is taking place. And Inhofe, people are going to be like, well, why is he so bad? And, well, he's not perfect is the answer. He's your average, corrupt, milquetoast Republican, establishmentarian figure, and we need to get him out of there. And he's getting out of there because he's retiring, but we need to get somebody else in there. I mean, if you look at Inhofe's record, it's fairly weak. He endorsed John Kasich first in the Republican primary in 2016. Kasich was one of the more liberal, one of the worst, most milquetoast options out of those 17, which had a lot of milquetoast options, by the way, but Kasich was arguably the worst of it. He had such poor judgment, he decided to endorse Kasich. And not only that, he's been caught buying up ridiculous levels of stock in Raytheon, the defense contractors. He's a full-blown neocon, and we know why. The special interests, the stocks he has in Raytheon, and he's retiring, so I consider this a net positive, but he needs to be replaced by somebody who is fairly solid. And you have another primary that's going on in Oklahoma. You have a primary that is going on with the other senator, James Lankford, who is weak on a wide variety of issues. And Lankford has not been endorsed by Trump yet, and a lot of Trump advisors have endorsed the challenger, Jackson Lamere, who's doing fairly well for a primary challenger against a senator. Again, it is very hard to primary out a sitting senator, but if anybody could do it this cycle, besides what you see up in Alaska, obviously, I think Lankford has the biggest chance of being primaried out. Trump hasn't endorsed a challenger to Thune, even though he said that he would, and he hasn't endorsed Thune. He also has not endorsed Lankford either. And some of Lankford's internal polls have him in the low 50s or whatever. And we know that Oklahoma has runoffs. We understand that. And if Lankford is just getting a little bit above 50 in some of his own internal polls, and you look at the fact that some of these other challengers like Dom have dropped out of this race and have moved into the other special election, it is very possible that Lankford could go down, especially in a runoff. I mean, we saw like Greg Abbott's polls had him in like the 70s or 60s, and that's roughly what he got. And Lankford, he's falling as well, and there's a lot of anger at Lankford because he is insufficiently conservative. And we understand this. He's not America first. He's, in the past, has been very weak on immigration, foreign policy, virtue signals to the left on social issues constantly, despite being in a state that voted for Trump by like 25 points. And there's this misconception, oh, if we primary out Lankford, we're going to lose. And it's like, first of all, it's Oklahoma. Like, it's a red wave. And we see this with a lot of people in Texas. They said, oh, we have to have Abbott because Abbott could beat Beto. Oh, we have to have Lankford because Lankford would beat this underfunded Democrat candidate. It's such a psyop. It doesn't matter who you put up there. If anything, these primary challengers would do better in a general election because of the fact that they will energize the grassroots better. They will energize the base. And obviously, either one of them is going to win. It's Oklahoma. So, which is why we need to get the best candidate, the most America first candidate that you possibly can get in a place like Oklahoma, because Lankford isn't cutting it. And I think Trump understands this. This is why he has not endorsed Lankford yet. And he may not even endorse a challenger for the primary, or he might just say, don't vote for Lankford in the primary and then endorse the individual who makes the runoff. But I'm pretty sure this is probably going to go to a runoff in terms of this Senate election. And I'm sure the other one will too. But you have to look at the other election, which is another important election, because not only do you have an opportunity to get rid of Lankford and put the more America First style candidate in Lohmeyer in, who is far more conservative, you also have a chance to get a massive upgrade over Jim Inhofe in the special election, which is important because you're going to have this primary and it's going to be competitive. Another primary that will probably go to a runoff. And you have Nathan Dahm, a very conservative state senator, probably the best option. A lot of people that I know are telling me that Dahm is the best option, but they're also looking at some of these other candidates like Kevin Hern, who potentially could run, and they're saying that he's solid too. And T.W. Shannon, who was, worked in the Trump administration. I don't personally know much about him, but either way, any of these candidates are going to be better than Markwayne Mullin. Personally, Dahm seems to be the best candidate that's announced so far. I will reassess it when more candidates run, but so far, Dahm would have my support. And then past Dahm, I would support Shannon over Markwayne Mullin. People are going to be like, well, what's the deal with Markwayne Mullin? Well, Markwayne Mullin, on the surface, some people may say he's okay as a congressman, but you have to go a little bit deeper into his record and understand why he could just very well be the Inhofe or Lankford 2.0. You look at his record in 2021, he voted to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act with expanded legal protections for biological men using women's shelters and serving in women's prisons, and he was only one of 29 Republicans to vote for that bill. And also, most infamously, Markwayne Mullin is known for the publicity stunt that he pulled in late August of 2021, in which, against pretty much everybody's orders, he went to Afghanistan, tried to play the hero, potential hero, and either way, it didn't really turn out too well for him. He tried to go in and tried to rescue Americans himself, and pretty much everybody said that he shouldn't have done it, and it was more of a publicity stunt than anything else. And he did make it out fine, but potentially could have gotten us wrapped up in some sort of congressional hostage crisis that we really had no business being in to begin with. But either way, Mullin is by far the weakest candidate of these three. Dahm is the best. Some people are also saying that Kevin Hern might be the best option if he does decide to run. I haven't personally seen enough to say that he's exactly better than Nathan Dahm, but either way, I think that Nathan Dahm would probably be the best option so far, given the fact that he's actually running. And again, he's been a staunch opponent of sanctuary cities. He's been very good on the issue of abortion. He's been fairly conservative all throughout his tenure. He's probably been one of the best senators in the Oklahoma State Senate. So he does have my endorsement so far. But either way, just keep this in mind ahead of the midterms, especially if you do live in Oklahoma, because you have two opportunities to get solid conservatives in there. Two opportunities. Or you could be stuck with Markwayne Mullin, which would be Inhofe 2.0, and you could be stuck with Lankford for another 6 years. And I don't think anybody wants that. I think that this is the time that we sit back and we say, hey, you have a state that voted for Trump by 30 plus points. It was one of the most Republican-leaning states in the nation. It is fairly conservative. on a wide variety of social issues to the point where you could put anybody up there and you could win. And so many people will sit there and say, well, we need to focus on electability, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like ridiculous because electability doesn't exactly matter. It's not even up for debate in a place like Oklahoma because we know what's going to happen. Republicans are going to win regardless. You got to get the best candidates in there. You have a perfect opportunity. Don't mess this up, please, Oklahoma. You cannot mess this up. We saw what happened in Texas. Oklahoma tends to be a little bit more less inclined to support these rhinos in the primaries, partially because it is a more rural state. It is a more rural and exurban state. And there are not necessarily these big metro areas that are zooming to the left. I mean, Oklahoma City has in recent years, but the state as a whole is not at risk of flipping. So either way, the primary should be interesting, but this is going to be crunch time. But like I said, runoff probably imminent in both of these. So we'll analyze it more this summer. But either way, hopefully Dom and Lamere can take the reins and end up winning both of these Senate seats because you could get a massive upgrade here and you don't want to miss this opportunity. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on Odyssey. Make sure you follow me on all of the alt tech as well. We want to grow the alt tech. Follow me on Telegram. Follow me on all that stuff. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.